here we go, Chris. And look, as we tape this, full transparency, it's 10:20 a.m. Eastern on Monday. The market is due to open at noon Eastern, the unofficial start of free agency where teams can work out deals that won't become official until the league year begins. The NFL intends to go forward. The NFL has tried to blame it on the NFL Players Association. DeMaurice Smith, the NFLPA executive director, was on ESPN earlier today and said, hey, don't blame us. We didn't say don't do it. So there's still a chance the NFL is going to do the right thing, the smart thing, the prudent thing, and slam on the brakes. But assuming it goes forward, Chris, this is going to be a free agency period unlike any we've seen, because if a national quarantine hits before Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, these tentative deals are going to remain tentative for weeks, maybe months.
Yeah, weeks, maybe months. That leaves a lot of time for a guy to get hurt in the meantime. I mean, there's just too many things that are unknown right now. You know, I really – and even, listen, I think my big thought is this. Even if this goes along as planned right now, where it looks like you said, 12 o'clock, it's going to start, here we go. I think we're going to see maybe a rush with the top-end guys that get signed as usual. But I think after that, you're going to see a halt in progress or signings or anything like that. I mean, that's just my sense. I just know, and I know I've texted you this throughout the weekend, people in the NFL are annoyed that free agency is continuing right now. I don't think everybody's out of the routine. People got kicked out of the facility. You know, people are all over the place, all over the country, stuck in certain cities, whatever it may be. I just think everything's a little unorganized right now. And I think everybody has a plan to what they want to do to be aggressive to start free agency. And then you adjust as you go through free agency. And I think that's when we're going to see a halt in progress right there.
And I really don't know what the NFL is thinking by proceeding with this. They know it's not the right thing to do. Otherwise, they wouldn't be trying to blame the NFL Players Association. And if the NFLPA truly is responsible for pushing this forward, at a certain point, you tell them, tough shit, right? You say, we are stopping this, and if you don't like it, file a charge with the National Labor Relations Board that we are engaging in improper bargaining by unilaterally imposing this material change to the work terms. Look, these are strange times, and it calls for unusual measures. And I feel like the NFL doesn't know why it wants to go forward. I don't know why it wants to go forward. No one has explained to me why it wants to go forward. The only argument, Chris, you can make for going forward is it's only going to get worse, not better, so we may as well do it now. I don't know that that's a good reason to go forward.
Well, okay, I get you. You're right. That does seem to be one of the reasons. I don't think that's a good reason either, though. I'm in a total agreement with you there. But I think, as we both know, we've both got a lot of play on social media where I've seen many people, tweet at me on Instagram. There's nothing going on right now. People are starving for something else other than the coronavirus. I think the NFL, right or wrong, realizes that. They're smart. As we know, these are some of the greatest business people we've seen. And selfishly, even me in these weird times, I'm bored right now. I mean, come on. I'm sitting in my damn family room talking to you on a freaking phone. All right. There's something I'd like to do. I would like to see some action selfishly. But you're right. They got to be sensitive to the whole country here. And, as you mentioned many times, what's it going to look like on a day where people are starting to lose paychecks and all of a sudden guys like Jadeveon Clowney are going to get $50 million checks, right? That's to where I think the NFL needs to be careful. And then to your other point, where the NFL could just say, hey, screw you, we're halting procedures, go ahead, NFLPA, file a grievance, and let's see where that goes. I mean, you're right. That's a very real possibility. And really, is the NFLPA in these sensitive times really going to do that, and say, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to go forward with an insensitive fight to the American public here, and we want to go on with free agency, while the NFL is saying, no, I don't think that would necessarily be a good look for the NFLPA either. So I don't know. I just think the NFL is stubborn, and they're going to continue to go with this because they know they're the biggest show in town right now.
You mentioned Jadeveon Clowney. That's a prime example of a guy who's not going to get any play until he can be given a physical.
Right.
He's not going to get an agreement in principle. And why would you take an agreement in principle? Let's play this out. You do an agreement in principle at 12:01 p.m. Eastern today. It becomes final when you pass a physical. National quarantine is imposed between now and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. There's no way to get a physical. So this deal is in limbo. Clowney is in limbo until the quarantine is lifted, until he can go get a physical. And then who knows what the physical is going to produce? And you know as well as I do, Chris, that the doctors who are hired by the teams are going to give the teams whatever results they want on the physical. What if whoever does an agreement in principle with Clowney today decides between now and whenever, you know what, we got a better option. We got a better plan. We really don't want to do this deal with Clowney. He's going to fail the physical, and he's back on the market at that point, starting all over again. That's the risk. That's one of the dangers of allowing the market to start now. You can't get the physical done quickly, and you let teams sit around and think about other things they can do, and they can eventually screw a guy who thinks that money is coming into his bank account.
Well, yeah, definitely. And then I think more into the time we're in right now, like, is it going to be a little weird if a guy like Jadeveon Clowney is going through a hospital and using up doctors? Like, I saw you write this yesterday, I believe. You know, is that going to be cool when a guy like Jadeveon Clowney goes into a hospital and consumes like 4 or 5 medical professionals in a time like this where we know we're, you know, a little short on those things? And of course, being very aware of our medical access and hoping we're ready for this onslaught that we think might be coming with coronavirus. And then added to your fact, Mike, which, I mean, you made great points, is if you're a team that does sign it, let's say a Jadeveon Clowney or a guy that you might have some concern about some injury, and you can't give him that physical right now because of all the things that are going on, how can you really proceed with the rest of free agency with, oh, we have this money allotted for this guy, but we're not really sure he's on our team yet, and, ooh, we wanted to get this other position, but things didn't work out, and now we have to overpay for another guy. I just have a hard time figuring out how teams are going to juggle the plans going forward after this if you can't get all these little details done, like, of course, a medical evaluation for guys that have a little bit of an injury history and you're going to pay big money to.
And here's the last thing I'm going to say about it before we move on. In 2011, the NFL delayed free agency until August as part of the work stoppage, a fairly ordinary lockout that resulted in a deal being done and free agency happening just a couple of days after that new CBA was signed. Well, if the NFL can delay free agency that long, delay it until after the draft in order to advance its own interests, the NFL can do the same damn thing, Chris, in the name of respecting and advancing the greater good. And that's what I want to see from this institution that I have been following for the last 50 years, that I have been covering for the last 20 years. At times like this, we need our great institutions to lead from ahead, not from behind. And I am very disappointed with the way the NFL has handled this because it's short-sighted, it's selfish, and it's not stepping up and standing up and doing the right thing. And I still hold out hope that by the time anyone out there sees this, the NFL will have realized the best outcome is to press pause. All those fans who are demanding like Veruca Salt, they want it now. Sometimes you don't get it now, but you will get it later. All right, Tom Brady.
Wait, hold on. 1 second there. Just one more thing to that. But, I mean, I don't, I'm just asking. I don't know. But we do have a lot of fans that want to see it continue and go on here. I mean, is it? I struggle with it. Is it good or is it insensitive a little bit? I know there's people that want to. Yeah.
They crave normalcy. And I don't fault them for that, but it's not practical. There are a lot of things people want to do at this time so they can feel like life is going on. They want to have some control over their existence. They go out and buy all the toilet paper. That is a manifestation of this desire to control, and having something normal and having a distraction from everything that's going on, it's understandable. But I don't think it's the right thing to do. It's not right for the players. It's not right for the team. It's not right for the current circumstances, because I don't want there's too many people out there who still think this is no big deal. They think it's just the flu. They think it's all a hoax. So the more things that are disrupted, the more the message gets through to them, Chris, that this isn't normal. Do not go about your normal life. Get the message to adjust accordingly. And that's one of the big reasons why this should not go forward.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.